Hi y'all, how y'all doing? This is the first time I've ever gone live from my business page. I don't know if anybody's used to me doing this or not, since it was such a nice day today. It was in the 70s here in Georgia, Sharpsburg, Georgia, at Mike's Magic Auto Detailing and Paint Enhancement. Oh me, I tell you what, I was sweating out here earlier. It's over 70 degrees and I had a short sleeve t-shirt on. But I didn't do a whole lot to my car today. My original plan, if you remember, I redid the clear coat restore on the hood. My original plan today was to put ceramic coating on it, but it was my judgment it hadn't quite cured enough. They say 48 hours before you can put a topper on that wipe on clear coat, that optimum clear coat restore, and by golly, I guess that's what they meant. So maybe tomorrow I will do that. I'll probably do the hood and my wheels, because I spent some time today doing my white. There she is, little blondie. Hey, Miss Glenda. I was just telling everybody, since it was so nice out here today, I was sweating out here, Glenda, in my dadgum short sleeve t-shirt. But my original plan had been to put ceramic coating on the hood where I had redid the clear coat restore, but it had not cured good enough, so I skipped that. So I hadn't done my wheels and tires in a very long time, so I spent a good bit of time on those. I think they came out nicely, and tomorrow I will put ceramic coating on my wheels in addition to the hood. I still have to redo the clear coat restore, Miss Glenda, on the rest of the car, but I ran out. Now I've ordered some. It'll be here in a day or two, I guess. We'll see. And some kind of special compound they said to use. But the other thing I did today is, she has had to sit outside so much for the last few months. I did what I call a restoration on the exterior glass, Miss Glenda. What I did was clean them real good, just with alcohol mixed with distilled water, about 25% alcohol. That's all you need. Trust me, don't buy all this fancy glass cleaner stuff. It's not a glass cleaner, it's a glass polish. All of them. All of them. Windex, all of them. Don't matter. You can use those as your last step if you want. But what I did, I cleaned them all just to get the surface gunk off, because I had slung stuff all over them from buffing on the car. So I just used a microfiber towel and the IPA solution, as we call it in the pro world here. And then I took some of my quick detailer that I make, and I've described in previous videos, from Optimum No Rinse, and a clay bar that I keep just for glass. I clay barred the outside of every window, all the glass. You can't do that to the mirrors because they're not tempered glass. You got to be careful. Only clay bar tempered glass, which 99.999% of all automobiles in the last, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years, it's all tempered glass, all of it. The feds made them do that. But so don't clay bar things like rear view mirrors or glass in your house and that kind of stuff that's not tempered. It will scratch it. But you're not going to scratch this, not with that. So anyway, I clay barred them all, cleaned them all up real good. And then I did not have any of my dedicated so-called glass polish, which is okay. It's not that much different. So what I used, just to show you how hard that glass is, Miss Glenda, what I used was this Flitz polish. This is really good stuff. It says it's for metal, plastic, and fiberglass. If it's not going to hurt plastic, it's not going to hurt tempered glass. Not going to do it. So I did that, and I used on the windshield, I used my larger dual action throw polisher, the long throw, with a wool pad on it, and I buffed. That's about the only way you can get those watermarks that show up on your glass. I call it watermarks. You have to buff that stuff off. It's the only way. Or shadows, I call them. You know, sometimes the glass looks okay till it gets wet, and then you see all those streaks and shadows. Buff it is the only way I've discovered that you can get rid of that. And then when I did the side glass, I'll drop down to my little rotary buffer, because that's only a 3-inch. That one's a 5-inch. That one's a 3-inch. I could have changed backing plates, but since I have one, I've had that thing forever. And that's how I polished the rest of the smaller windows with that. And then I cleaned all that off. And then, since I was all out of my glass, I mean, you can buy special glass sealants, blah, blah, blah. I've had that stuff, and I'm going to tell you something. I didn't notice a big difference in that high dollar stuff and just using a regular sealant. So what I did, I used this protectant here from DPC Luxury Microfiber out of Dallas, Texas. It's a top coat protectant, but you can put it on glass, metal, plastic, rubber. You can put it on top of anything. And so I just put that on the glass. It'll probably last a couple of months. But I mean, that glass now, Miss Glenda, is almost, I would say, 98% on the outside anyway. I haven't done the insides yet, which is just dirty. I'd say 98% of the factory clarity. And there's some scratches on that one, but they're on some of them are on the insides, some on the outside, but they're too deep scratches. Just like the paint, you can't get them out. And no, I didn't do the back windshield, because I figured, hell, it's covered up with those louvers anyway. Does that mean I'm lazy, Miss Glenda? Falling down on the job? But I think you could see that glass looks really good now for a 1998 vehicle. And it's the original OEM glass that was on it when it was brought to the dealership from the factory, and the day it rolled out of the showroom floor. So I'd say it turned out pretty good. Yeah, I can't wait to ceramic coat my wheels, because basically then all I have to do is rinse them off, which I had a good wheel glaze on them. And the biggest difference is going to be the ceramic coating is just going to last longer. And I put optimum tire protectant, treatment, whatever you want to call it, on the tires. It's good stuff. It's a little pricey. And some people don't like that high shine on their cars. And I don't either, really. But you can dilute that stuff down a little bit with water. And I've done that, and I didn't like it that way, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that tires. That'll be all right. First time they get wet, they'll dull down a little bit. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I'm not getting near as many watchers on my business page, Miss Glenda, as I do on my regular page, but I don't know. Who cares, right? It don't matter to me. It'll be all right. I'm still pretty happy with the way that hood turned out, considering as crappy as it looked. Now, it probably won't be too long. I'll repaint it anyway. So, but in the meantime, now I got to go in the house, and it's been that way since I bought the car. But the vent cowl, they call it, COWL, it's broke right there. This is really thin. I mean, this plastic is so thin, it's ridiculous. And I know exactly how this happened, because that's right where you want to put your hand when you're leaning over, working like in the engine compartment or something. So I know exactly how that happened. And it's gotten worse since I bought the car. But I'm going to shop around, because if you buy what they call the OEM, the factory version of this, Glenda, it's $200 for a dadgum piece of plastic. Really? That's ridiculous. I can buy a spoiler for the front end, a lip spoiler they call it. It's got more plastic than this does and thicker, and it's only about 1/3 of the cost. So this makes no sense. So I'm going to do some shopping. Maybe I can find a used one on eBay or something or other. I don't care what it looks like as long as it's intact, because I can repaint it. That's what I did to that one, because it had turned white. Repainted it, and then I treated it with solution finish and then put protectant on it. Yeah, it's been alright, except it's just, I mean, I could probably fix that hole, but what a pain. So if I could find one reasonable, I just get me another one. But I'm not paying over $200 for one, I'll tell you that right now. If that's my only option, that one's going to get fixed. I'll fix it, and you won't hardly be able to tell it was ever broke. I've still got the pieces. Never fear, never fear. Hey, Lordy. Well, man, you can see all my wheel tools I had going out there. Had to rinse them all out. My wash mitt and all that kind of stuff. My drill brushes. I don't think I've showed y'all before, but when I'm cleaning the tires, in one of my other videos I showed you, I have a sprayer that puts out soap in a foam. And there's a foam, of course you got to have soap that is made to foam. But my foaming sprayer is made by Marolex. There's only one place in the United States you can get them. You have to order them from that luxury microfiber out of Dallas. He is the sole distributor in the United States. It's a pump-up sprayer, super heavy duty though, and not all that expensive. But what I do is I take a foaming spray soap, I foam everything, let it sit for a while. I'll go around foam all 4 tires and wheels. And then I'll come back, and if it's dry, I'll just re-wet it a little bit. And then I take what they call a drill brush. You know, it's a brush that fits on the end of your drill. I'll try to show you that sometime in the future. And I take my drill brush, you know, and my drill, and that's how I scrub those tires clean. Makes child's play out of it. Beats getting one of those tire brushes with your hand and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. And sometimes you still don't get them clean that way. Maybe twice around with that drill brush, it's clean. I don't care what kind of tire you got. And then I got some special wheel woolies and all that they call, and I put some really strong acid cleaner on the inside, the wheel barrel as they call it, on the inside of the wheel, the part you can't see that's inside of the face of it. Of course my tires are real wide, so I got to, and what you do is that gets all that old brake dust and all that kind of stuff. And I've got a long handled brush that's only about that big around. The brush is about 6 to 8 inches long, so it'll fit in all those little nooks and crannies, and you can reach that wheel barrel and get it clean without having to take the wheel off the car, which that's the ideal way to do it, Miss Glenda. But you know, yeah, I mean, if I'm doing somebody else's, which mine have been done that way, but there's no point in doing it every time when you keep the car up like I do. But because that stuff will get in there, it'll just corrode away the metal if it's left to its own devices. So that's what I did to all 4 of those. That only took a little while. So all right, it's trying to get dark on me. About time for me to go in and figure out what I'm gonna make me for supper. My stomach is grumbling a little bit. No, I'm not gonna turn the camera around. No, 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 no. Not happening. All right, folks. I will talk to you guys later. Hopefully I'll have a project show up here in another day or two, and I'll be able to get back to working on other people's cars. Bye, Miss Glenda.